Paul Harrell, weekdays from 4 to 6. Learn more at paulharrell.com.
Joining us now to talk about the just events of the day, we have the myth, the man, the legend. State Representative Josh Miller is with us from District 66. Josh, welcome back to the program.
Hey, thank you, Paul. There's probably more myth and man than legend, but I like that intro. That's pretty.
Well, you're welcome. I mean, the legend is that you are so opposed to some of the big government growth down there that you just take a piece of duct tape and tape the no button on your desk, so you don't really have to vote it. You don't have to push it anymore. You get so tired of hitting the no button.
That's exactly right. I saw a tweet from some knucklehead former legislator a while back that was accusing somebody else of not being down there to make hard decisions. And my thought was, I have yet to see a hard decision. I told my district that, I was going to oppose big government spending and spending money we don't have, and that I was going to adhere to basic fiscal conservative principles. And I've yet to see a tough decision. I mean, you look at these budgets, well, that's an easy decision. They're crap, vote no. So anyway, I don't know. It's probably a whole lot more thought goes into it than what actually has to, but most of the time they're easy to see.
Yeah, well, hopefully there'll be more, maybe there'll be more duct tape that we can, hand to different legislators. That'd be great.
Well, I've got several rolls, and they come in multiple colors. Folks can have a color of their choice. Just put it on the no button. It's
easy. So, Josh,
this call is now being recorded.
Uh-oh. Well, we've got. Are you there, Josh?
I am.
Okay. All right. Sorry, we just heard that the call's now being recorded. So you must have hit a button to record the conversation. Uh-oh.
I don't know. I don't know what that was.
Okay. Well, who knows? I guess it's the NSA listening in. I don't know what's so important.
Well, good. I'm not above hacking them off either.
Okay, so Josh Miller, we haven't talked to you in a while, but a couple of weeks ago before the holiday, the Governor Asa Hutchinson, he gave a press conference, and he kind of talked a little bit about this Obamacare repeal process that's going on in Washington, D.C., and I wanted to get your take on it. Did you listen to Asa's press conference?
Actually, I was busy working that day as a taxpayer. No, sir, I did not. I thought, I just didn't. And honestly, I heard about it. I heard some clips of it. And it's just blah blah blah. Keep our money coming in. Don't do anything that's going to hurt Arkansas. Blah blah blah. By the way, I still hate Obamacare. Does that about sum it up?
Yeah, that is. I think he said he still disliked Obamacare at the beginning, but then there's the then there's the but, after that is
right,
kind of negates. And it was really crazy because they really are trying to eat their cake and have it. When Ace is saying he still believes Obamacare is bad, and yet he doesn't want a third of it to go away in the form of funding for the money that's coming to Arkansas. So what about what about that? I mean, are you surprised that we're to the point where we're talking about trying to repeal it, and it is a lukewarm repeal if it's anything, and it's still, you have Asa to the left of the United States Senate saying, please don't?
Well, I assume since you asked me, you all know my thoughts, and so I'll give them to you. And here they are. For one, and I said it a while back, that what Asa Hutchinson was going to wind up doing is putting our congressional or our federal delegation in a bad spot, and that's exactly what he's done. Senator Cotton and Senator Bozeman.
Hang on 1 second.
Calling private.
Sorry, Josh.
Okay.
You just broke up there just for a minute. We may have just a little bit of a bad connection at times. But go ahead. We did get the part about federal delegation is in a bad spot.
Right. I believe that he has put them in a bad spot. And, I believe Senator Bozeman, Senator Cotton ought to call him privately and ask him to please hush, because I believe that both of those gentlemen have campaigned on the principle of repealing Obamacare. I believe that both of them, I've heard both of them speak publicly numerous times, and they talk about we need to repeal it and we need to replace it. we've got to do something. We cannot afford to continue going down the same path. And then here we have Hutchinson, basically begging them, saying, well, if y'all do what you said you were going to do, you're going to really upset a bunch of my big donors. And please don't do that. And, there's going to be some folks in Arkansas that lose their free ride, and we just can't have that happen. And so, I mean, that's the way, when you step back and look at it from just a redneck point of view, that's the way I see it. I think, I really think the governor is doing our federal delegation a disservice by getting out and doing what he's doing now, because those gentlemen have all campaigned on the principle of repealing Obamacare.
Yeah,
so has
right.
every other Republican that I've known of in the state of Arkansas in the last 6 or 8 years.
Yeah, and what you're exposing, we're talking with State Representative Josh Miller. We have talked about the divide within the Republican Party many times on this program. The Arkansas Republican establishment wants to ignore that divide within the Republican Party, but what this move by Asa is signaling is it's exposing that Arkansas's version of republicanism in the leadership won't fly nationally. It hits this brick wall. It's not compatible with what for example, Senator Bozeman and Senator Cotton stand for, and that to me is it's kind of out in the open for everybody. You would think there would be some people, statewide media, writing about this, but instead they're not, because I think they really do believe in the big government that has grown to its current size, and they want to keep it that way.
I don't disagree with your assessment at all. I believe that, like I said, what our two senators need to do is hit the shady button every time our governor calls, because he's going to wind up putting them in a bad spot. And I'm being serious about that, man. There's just there's no excuse for it. Yeah, I mean, we've all campaigned and wished, I wish we had a Republican legislature, a Republican Congress, Republican Senate, and a Republican in the White House who is willing to repeal Obamacare and try to replace something that's more affordable. And, and hey, like him or not, President Trump is there, and he's saying, get it to my desk and I'll sign it. And so now these, the I guess is on our Senate to do just that. And then they've got to deal with Governor Asa Hutchinson, who is starting to sound a lot like Governor John Kasich, which I don't really think is a good thing.
John Kasich, yeah.
And it's just a joke, man. I tell you, the whole thing is a joke. These guys, I mean, how can you, just like you said, you can't have your cake and eat it too? And if you can't, how can you? And they're trying to figure out how we can, and we just can't. We can't do it as a state. We can't do it as a federal government anymore.
Yeah.
Everybody we sign up in Arkansas, we're not even signing up on the backs of taxpayers anymore. We're signing up on the backs of future taxpayers who are going to have to pay it back to China, which is never a good spot to put our country.
We're talking with State Representative Josh Miller. I haven't had you on in a while. There's been some other developments that I'd like to get your thoughts on. Number one, the tax farce and Tim Griffin. Tim Griffin sending them a letter urging them to do meaningful tax reform, not revenue-neutral tax reform, and even get spending under control. Did you follow that story at all? And are you pleased that we at least have somebody who's out there saying we have a spending problem in Arkansas?
Absolutely. I have followed the story a little bit, and I haven't been involved with the tax whatever it is now. Is it blue ribbon, red ribbon? What week is it? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
The color changes. Rainbow-colored task force.
Rainbow. That's right.
Anyway, the rainbow-colored task force, what I'm gonna call it. Anyway, last I heard, they've already hired a consultant to do the work. Well, I mean, good Lord, what a joke. We're the task force. The legislature's the task force. We had multiple tax cut bills that never made it out of committee. last year because, we can't pay for them. Well, you don't have to pay for a cut. I called Lieutenant Governor Griffin, and I tell you what, I will say this publicly right now. If the Lieutenant Governor wants to jump in and primary our current governor next year, I'd like to be one of the first ones to write him a check and sign up to help on his campaign. I completely respect the man who's willing to actually dig in and get something done. And then, Lord have mercy, we got to do something different than we're doing now. And folks like myself and Senator Brian King and others, at times we just feel like we're the lone wolves howling in the midnight. Nobody hears us.
Yeah,
so I am proud of the Lieutenant Governor.
Yeah, and I'm glad to hear you say that. A lot of people are proud of Tim Griffin. A lot of people, they find his willingness to go out and advocate for conservative principles and ideas very refreshing, because he does it in a shameless way. He does it in a way that he knows and is confident that the people of Arkansas are on his side, and that's because they are on his side. You know what I mean? So it is incredibly refreshing. Wow. That's. There've been people. There's whispers of people that they say, "Hey, I'd love for Tim Griffin to primary Asa," and State Representative Josh Miller, you're saying you'd be the first to cut him a check, huh?
I would be honored to be the first.
That's
Absolutely.
Fantastic. That's fantastic. I'm
gonna tell you, if I can, real quick, what Lieutenant Governor Griffin is talking about, what he's doing. That's what the folks in the state of Arkansas have voted for the last 3 election cycles, and they've been let down. All these districts, representative districts, Senate districts. You're in one up there in Jonesboro. Folks elected John Cooper up there to go up and actually do something and not just go along with status quo. Unfortunately, he let down that Senate district.
Yep.
And that's happened all over the state. Folks came out in droves and voted for Governor Hutchinson, and they've been let down. And he brag about poll numbers, and wow, that's really great if Hendrix College does you a poll amongst wide voters of 500 people, and your favorability rating is up there. I'm sure they polled mainly moderate Democrats. College has never been known for being a stalwart of conservatism in our state, so I don't pay a whole lot of attention to that. I think the governor would be might be in a little bit of hot water if he was primaried by a candidate who had the ability to compete with him.
Yeah. Well, I think you're certainly right about that. I don't anticipate it happening. I'm glad you brought it up, but I don't anticipate that happening. But again, it is extremely refreshing to see, Tim Griffin, going out and actually, advocating for the policies that people in the establishment leadership don't seem to want to advocate for. But very interesting points, State Representative Josh Miller. Appreciate you coming on the program as always. You always do a great job, so I appreciate you coming on.
Hey, it's always an honor to be on, Paul. I appreciate you, man. Y'all keep up the good work.
All righty. Thank you, sir. Be safe. Folks, we're going to take a break. 870-275-9799. Back in a minute.